You remember that in our first class, we tackled that issue of what is purpose. And we agreed that purpose cannot be your career, cannot be your occupation, cannot be what probably you do on a daily basis. It must be something more than that. We're going to start by asking 5 important questions. And it is from those 5 questions that we shall move on to asking the question on how do you discover your purpose. The first question is, and somebody will probably tell us whether we have answered that question, who am I? That is the first question. Who am I? Now, in the world today, people do all that they do in an effort to try to discovering that answer. Identity. Who am I? The second question is, where am I from? This is a question of source. Where am I from? There's a source. Where did you come from? Who is your source? The answer is, you come from a supernatural being, God. And once you've known that you come from a supernatural being called God, then you're going to know that that God must have sent you to do a certain thing. And that is the third question. Why am I in this world? A question of purpose. And that is our business, purpose. But we're saying it will be found in the 5 important questions of the world. Why am I still in this world? That is purpose. And by the way, it is connected with the second question. I am from God, who did not create a useless thing, did not create a junk, did not create me without any purpose. So it comes to number 3. Why am I still here? Or why am I in this universe? Purpose. Then the fourth question that is important in the universe is, what can I do? This is a question on potential. Potential. So what can you do? A research has been done, and that it has been discovered that almost 90% of the people do not utilize their full potential. That majority, or almost every one of us, we only use not more than 10% of our brain. So that 90% of our potential has not been utilized. So the question is, what is your potential? Then the last question is, where am I going? Where am I going? This is a question of destiny. And we said that, in our last session, we said that the most important thing or reason why we must discover our purpose is the fact that we must leave a legacy. You understand? So that this question goes into saying or telling us, where are we going? So these 5 questions, if you look at those 5 questions, you're going to discover one thing, that the question that probably we do not have an answer on is the third question. Why are you still here? The question of purpose. Okay? And for you to discover your purpose, now we are going to the point of how do you discover your purpose? These questions must be answered. We've already answered question 1. Okay, by saying we are the most important people, right? Question 2, where are we from? God. Question 3, we still are on that question. Question 4, what can we do? This is a personal question, and therefore we cannot probe it and say, this is your potential. You know yourself. Okay? Then the last question is destiny and legacy. This question of legacy and destiny will all automatically be answered when you discover your purpose. We have 8 things that we must do. 8 things that we must do for us now to discover our purpose. And when we discover our purpose, automatically we are saying we are going to answer those 5 questions. And when we answer those 5 questions, then we shall say that we have already gotten the 5 biggest questions in the world. And when you have an answer for the 5 biggest questions in the world, automatically you are successful. So number 1, the first thing that you must do, number 1, so that you discover your purpose. Explore the things you love to do. Explore the things you love to do and which comes easily. Number 2, ask yourself this question. What qualities do you enjoy expressing the most in the world? You know, everyone has some qualities. Everyone has something that probably is naturally occurring to you, but because of what the society will say, probably you fear expressing those qualities. But now our task here, the question is, what are those qualities that you enjoy to express to the world freely? Then number 3, you must create a life purpose statement. What is a life purpose statement? This is a statement which is like your slogan. So you cannot do that statement by just sitting today in 1 minute saying, this is my statement, this is my life purpose statement. It is something that you must think about it and say, by the way, when I look at my life, this is what I like doing, this is what I like creating, and therefore, and I've done several things like this, therefore this is my statement. In other words, what we are saying is that have a mission statement for your life. The 4th thing that you must do is that you must follow the inner guidance. In other words, you must decide where your destiny will be. Will you be amongst the people who will leave this world without any mark? Or will you be the people that shall be remembered even after your death? So where do you want to go? Probe that question. Ask yourself, by the way, since I came to this world, where do I want to go? Where is my destiny? Okay? Then the other task that you must do is that you must think about the times that you have experienced the greatest joy when doing certain things. Because purpose must not be forced, it must not be something that you are forced to do. It must be something that you are doing and it brings you joy. Then the other question or the other task that you must do is that you must ask, when are you most fulfilled? I would want to take an example of Mother Teresa. Okay? Her purpose, or what made her feel fulfilled, was assisting the poor. If you read her story, initially she did not have even the money to do that. Therefore, she could sacrifice whatever she had so that she can do that which brings her fulfillment. And we agreed that when you have discovered your purpose, at first you'll have difficulties in doing that purpose. But eventually God will send your way the right people, will send your way the right resources, the right ideas. So eventually, if you are to able to look at your life, eventually you're going to finish up that life as a very successful person. Then the last thing that you must do for you to discover your purpose is that you must think of, you do what we call passion test. You do a passion test. What is a passion test? A passion test entails an experiment that you do it on yourself. You come up with 15 statements or 15 things which when you visualize in your mind, they make your life ideal. Ideal in the sense that the life that you'd want to live in terms of happiness, in terms of joy. So once you have raised the 15 things or 10 things that make or you believe will make your life ideal, then you now start knocking them down and you remain with 5. On your list, you eliminate all the 15 and take the top 5 ideal things that if they occur in your life, you will think or you will feel that your life is ideal. Then when you have those 5 ideals, those 5 things that you think your life will be ideal when they occur, okay, you now again take number 1 and number 2 and look at the importance of number 1 and number 2. If you feel that number 1 is more important than number 2, then eliminate number 2 and you proceed until you narrow down to at least one or two things that make your life ideal, and that will be your purpose. Summarize all that. To discover your purpose, you must do these three things, and this is what I want you to go home with. Three things. You must envision or imagine your ideal life. So do what? Envision stroke imagine your ideal life. It is when you have a connection probably with your creator. That is when you have an ideal life, because now you are in tandem with your creator. You are doing that which your creator sent you to do. Then number three, that thing that I want you to do is that you must do what makes you happy. So if you have discovered that there is something that you do and it makes you happy, and please let's not confuse happiness with say the worldly pleasures or the earthly pleasures. No, we are talking about happiness that comes from the heart. If you have discovered that thing that gives you natural happiness, then we are saying continue doing it and doing it even the more. That way your purpose will come out if you have not discovered it. Then the third thing that I want you to do is that you pursue that which you pursue, number two and number one, with passion. And so our task is to discover that purpose and to do what? To fulfill that purpose. And when we do that, we shall call ourselves successful men and women.